Do you like inspiring underdog stories? Woody Harrelson is starring in the new comedy Champions, and it's hitting theaters soon. So, should you grab your tickets now? A former minor league basketball coach is ordered by the court to manage a team of players with intellectual disabilities. He soon realizes that, despite his doubts, together this team can go further than they ever imagined. So, stories like this are not new or unique. In fact, Champions is a remake of a Saudi Arabian film that came out in 2021. But aside from that, if you've seen The Mighty Ducks, then you've seen the structure and the concept of this film. I'm not saying that as a negative, but if you're looking for a wholly original story, this isn't it. Woody Harrelson plays a basketball coach who gets in trouble with the law, so for his community service, he has to spend 90 days coaching a basketball team made up of people with intellectual disabilities. I think the thing that keeps this from going off the rails or becoming a distasteful story is that while Harrelson's character is flawed, he's never a terrible person. He's not rude or condescending to the team members, but he's still able to show a level of frustration with the players from a coaching perspective. Now, the cast that makes up the basketball team, they are hilarious in a very pure and joyful way. I mean, they still display disappointments, frustrations, and the regular gamut of emotions that everybody experiences, but they also showcase a positive outlook that tends to be their default state of mind, and that's refreshing to watch. I love the genuine snark that's captured from so many of the team members, and then the straight-faced comedy that they can deliver when a character will do something just very bizarre. Now, for instance, one character only ever shoots granny style, but also backwards. So no matter where he's at, he tosses the ball that way. And then he celebrates, even if he misses. Now, this is a conundrum for Harrelson, but it makes total sense for the team because they're all about supporting each other. And this arc, it does weave its way throughout the story. So while it may start out just feeling like a shtick or maybe a gimmick, it actually has a meaningful point within the story. Kaitlin Olson also stars in this, and she has a great dynamic with Harrelson. She's kind of no-nonsense, but this helps when she's delivering her deadpan sarcastic humor. And while I'm not sure I ever laughed out loud with a bellybuster from her, I did chuckle at their interactions, and I was definitely amused by the banter. Now, the filmmaking captures the basketball games really well, creating a sense of excitement and energy that picks up the pace of the story when these things are going on. And there's not an overwhelming amount of basketball games shown, but there is enough to see the players in action and to get insights into each of their personalities, as well as watching growth take place within Harrelson. Now, the biggest downside of the movie is that it's too long. This is just a bit over 2 hours, and it definitely does not need to be that length. The arcs and the progressions, they are very predictable and obvious. And while that didn't bother me, when those are then combined with a story that's taking too long to tell, it does become a detractor for enjoyment. Now, many portions can be cut out and removed to just tell this more efficiently. And I think had this stayed around the 90-minute mark, it would have been way more engaging and enjoyable. Now, I was still having fun with the story, thanks mostly to the characters, but when you know where the story is headed and yet it refuses to push forward to get there, that's when the watching moves from entertaining to a chore. And despite the too long runtime, the movie's got a bunch of heart to it that absolutely made me smile. And a big part of the movie focuses on the dynamic between Harrelson and player Kevin Iannucci. Now, they have a great connection that's witty but also heartfelt, and they have good chemistry. I really like how the story actually reverses their roles at times, making Iannucci the coach for Harrelson, giving him new perspectives and then challenging him to grow as a person. Now, predictability aside, everything about this movie makes it a feel-good winner except for the runtime, and that really did impact the enjoyment. Now, I think because of this, I'd not watch it in the theater, but instead wait for it to hit VOD. I mean, it is worth the price of renting, but I do think you'll get a bit restless in your seat if you pay to see it on the big screen. The acting is fun and it's filled with cheer-worthy characters, many of whom will create legitimate laughter at their pureness of delivery, and then the action I think is captured well too, creating urgency during games as well as showcasing the talent of the players. The themes and messages of the film are certainly some of the bright spots, never creating an atmosphere or even a feeling that the actors with the disabilities were lacking or less than. I mean, they're shown as equals and more than capable, which is refreshing and inspiring. There's sex, no nudity, some profanity, and barely any violence. I give Champions 3.5 out of 5 couches. So what's an inspiring sports story that you enjoy? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.